Hello and welcome to In the Clear, the only show that's been on life support since day one. Not because it's failing, but because it just can't stand on its own 2 feet yet. I'm your host, Tom Stark, and we really made it to season 3, y'all. Thank you so much to everyone who has watched this far and helped us to grow. Thank you to everyone who's just tuning in for the first time. We have an awesome show planned for you tonight. We have Kramer from Living Anachronism swinging by, as well as another installment of This Exists. Remember to like and hit that subscribe button to stay in the loop for more of us. And now sit back, relax, and let me rapidly become your least favorite talk show host. That's Kramer. He does something a lot of us would love to do, but pretend we're too cool for. He looks into fantasy movies and shows and tries to see how realistic some of the things they do or use are. He took some time to sit down with me and talk about how and why he does what he does. Hello, everyone. I'm here with Kramer. Hi, Kramer.
Hi, Thomas. How are you?
Very good. How you doing today?
Very well. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Thank you for being here. So you have a page called Living Anachronism.
Yep.
And why don't you tell us all a little bit about what you do?
So Living Anachronism is a fantasy medieval experimental channel. So I'm doing Lord of the Rings reenactment, getting into some Witcher stuff. And I'm essentially trying to reconstruct a world that never actually existed. See what works from D&D, what works from TV shows and movies and books that we all know and love here in real life. So I'm an actor with the skills of a real life adventurer, I guess.
That is a very nice way to put it. Very fun. I did notice you skipped Game of Thrones. Was that on purpose?
No, there's a lot of things to list, and I completely left it off.
I was about to say, with the new show coming out and being a Stark myself, it's a big miss for me.
Yeah. We'll see how the show goes, right?
Yeah, we can only hope.
Yeah.
So, a lot of what you do, as far as what I've seen, is tutorial based, which is very nice for people getting into LARPing or Renaissance. How did you get into that skill set in the first place?
So I discovered LARP when I was, I think, a freshman in high school. So a number of years ago now. I used YouTube as my resource. And, back in those days, there was a lot less out there, but I scrambled together what I could and went to the first couple LARPs. And then a lot of where I come from now is experience based. The tutorials are kind of an interesting thing for me because I don't consider myself particularly experienced in crafting and stuff like that, but I share what I do know how to do and hope that that helps some other people who have less experience than me.
All right. And on that note, the shirt you're wearing right now, is it a shirt or a tunic, if I'm right to ask?
I'm both. So this undershirt here is a linen shirt, and this is a woolen tunic.
And those are completely handmade as well?
The shirt is not handmade. I got that online. But the tunic is handmade, not by me, but it is hand stitched.
All right.
Or hand sewn. They use a machine, but
somebody made it with their own two hands, though.
That I know.
I appreciate the honesty.
Yeah.
What would you say separates you from other people doing the same thing or the same sort of thing?
Yeah, my answer would have been, I'm not really sure anyone is doing exactly the same thing. I'm trying to get out into the field as much as possible. And my main distinction is that a lot of people they're older than me, and a lot of their knowledge comes from having done research through books or through the internet, stuff like that. I'm coming at it from the slightly different perspective that I'm a young actor. So I am really looking at movies mostly that I have idolized since childhood, and then trying to recreate that as realistically as possible in real life. And I haven't seen that quite as much. There's Living History, where they try to recreate what was done in history, and then there's sort of like meta-analysis that there is on YouTube. But I'm trying to get out in the field as much as possible and draw from my acting experience in my analysis.
I like that. And I think it's incredibly relatable to see, especially like a big fantasy piece like Lord of the Rings, and be able to go, wow, I want to do that. That is, just the scale. So
out of all the fantasy that you've taken in and that you are now trying to replicate, what is your favorite source?
Oh, Lord of the Rings for sure.
So easy. It's such an easy one.
Just hands down. Everything. There's like the memes, right? It's like every other fantasy author just copies J.R. Tolkien essentially.
It really is. Like,
something I said on my channel is that Lord of the Rings always gets a pass. I will criticize pretty much anything except those Lord of the Rings films. If I see a mistake on film, my eyes are wrong. It's my fault.
So when you see Orlando Bloom without the contacts in, you're like, I just got to pass on that.
Different person. It's not the same guy.
So I've been going through your stuff for, I want to say 2-3 months now. And I'd like to know what has been, I want to say, the most rewarding skill you've learned from all this.
The most rewarding skill. Well, YouTube itself is a skill I would consider. And the amount of growth that I have been able to achieve in the short time that I've been around, that is, I'm not going to say that it wasn't luck for the most part. But there was a lot of learning about video editing and composition and sound editing, all of that really went into the production of my videos. But a better answer probably is that I started leather crafting, not specifically for the channel, but that is also a skill that is rewarding in the sense that it gives me physical material goods when I'm done.
Mm-hmm. And it really does go in well with everything you're doing. Leathercraft is pivotal.
Yeah.
I have time for one more good question.
Sure.
What would you say is your most prized possession that pertains to everything that you do?
Most prized possession. The most expensive one is this sword back here.
Okay.
My most prized possession, I just recently got a camp axe, and I have a feeling that is going to be the most useful tool I have, right aside to fire making, because fire is important for survival.
Fire is very important.
I'm going to say my brand new axe is my prized possession at the moment.
Do you happen to have it on you?
Yeah, I got to drop out of camera for a second.
Please. Oh, lovely.
Yeah, there it is. So it's got a hammerhead on the one side, so it's really useful for camping, and you can get your hand right behind the beard of the axe there, so you can get up nice and close if you're shaving a piece of wood or something.
Is that actually referred to as the beard of the axe?
Yeah, this part down here is the beard.
The beard.
Yeah.
Huh. I'm learning things too today. Well, that is all the time we have. So I want to thank you very much for coming by and answering the questions I had.
Thank you again.
Oh, no problem.
He was seriously one of the coolest people I've ever talked to.
You didn't say awesome.
I know I didn't. I'm trying here, people. Anyway, please head on over and show him some love on your favorite platforms. Links in the description below. So, this being our first episode of the new season, Season 3, Trace or Dry.
We get it.
Anyway, we decided to bring back our first ever segment, This Exists, where we scour the internet and we try to find weird and quirky sites or pages that make you laugh and question people's usage of their own free time. For this one, we decided to go with r/MyEvilPlan. It's a great place to go if you want to let off some steam like Thomas the Tank Engine going out on a bender. Or if you just want to read other people's stories of how they had evil but ridiculous ways of getting back at people, head on over there and check it out. Now, as tradition on the show, we decided to add to it and turn into our very own Dr. Evil, but with a little more hair and a couple less PhDs. Also, while you're over there, give us a rating on a scale of Toy Story Sid to Dr. Doofenshmirtz. It was an actual story from my life that I put on there, and I'm actually really, really proud of it, so please be as harsh as you like. Now, closing out the show today. To start not just a new season of the show, but because Halloween just passed. Let us know, do you prefer the sweet sugary candies like Sweet Tarts or the chocolate candies like Hershey's when you're out trick-or-treating? Head on over to Twitter for our poll to figure out who is more prominent and who is wrong. Links in the description below. And that's it for the show. Thank you so much for tuning in and being here for a whole new season with us. Please give us a like, comment on what you want to see, and subscribe for more of us. Also, we launched a website to keep ourselves organized. If you want to check it out, the link, as always, is also down below. This was In the Clear. I'm Tom Stark. Have a great night, tip your waitress, and we'll see you next time.